So why are we doing a live right now?
We are doing a live because today was a really active day in Cake Sense, and it was, to say the least, provocative from a standpoint of just like it was a lot of opinions, a lot of comments. And obviously, we're not here to like rehash any of those things, but we are here to kind of discuss them and really try to bring a perspective that I hope that you all really get from a business standpoint. So I want to make sure you guys understand that what we're going to discuss right now is not about like judging whether you're making a right decision or a wrong decision. It is to give you the sight of saying, okay, here's the thing. So, like Janelle did a live today. And
hey, Mary Catherine Plummer.
Hey,
Becca Torres.
We're in the right group, right?
Yeah, we're
okay.
good.
So Janelle did a live today kind of clarifying everything that was kind of said and what transpired. And one of the things she talked about was
it's so late, y'all. It's 1 a.m. here, and I'm up caking with my foot.
Oh, God.
Uh-oh.
So,
she hurt herself.
Janelle talked about not doing a particular cake, right?
No, I didn't talk about that. Someone else did.
No, you talked about not. So we were talking about making a decision based on morals or whatever it is about not taking a particular cake or not helping a particular type of customer.
Let me explain what happened.
Okay.
I wasn't feeling well this morning.
Yeah.
I was at the doctor.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, you care so much. So I was at the doctor, and all of a sudden, I'm like, let me go on Facebook. And so I go on Facebook, and I see that people are commenting. My immediate notifications were about, hey, what do you do if you want to take you don't want to take an order because it's not in alignment with like your values and your beliefs? So immediately I thought of the gynecologist office that reached out to do bloody vagina cupcakes for their office party, which I didn't find amusing. And I didn't want to do it.
Crazy.
Right? So I said, sorry, that's not something that we can't take that order. I could have said, we're booked. But I said, that's not really an order that we want to take.
Right.
And the owner of the gynecologist's office, so the gynecologist, got really irate with me. I don't understand. Where's your sense of humor? Don't you make art? Blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, listen, we're the Cake Mamas. We're a family business. My kids are here often, and that's how we run our business. And we get to choose what art we want to participate in. And that's not really in alignment with my brand. We want to do art that we're proud of. And I would never post a picture of that on my social media because that could offend someone. And I don't feel comfortable doing that. So I can give you some referrals to some other bakeries, but it's just not something that we can do. And I remember him arguing with me, and I said, listen, I don't think this is up for discussion. It's just not something that we're willing to do right now. Hindsight, I could have just said, sorry, we're booked. What day did you need that for? Sorry, we're booked. Just because I didn't want to start the conversation. The point is, I commented this morning because I was thinking that that's what it was.
Yeah, and so
it wound up being something
totally
way bigger.
Different. Like,
and then
go ahead.
The guy that was offended winds up posting something saying, oh, Janelle Copeland's Cake Sense is a bunch of, Christian, I don't know what it was, but it was offensive to me because I didn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah, it's like Christian conservative
hideout.
Yeah.
And the thing is like not really. Our community is very big. It's very diverse. People come from all over. We pride ourselves in that, right? And lots of people, when I did the live this morning, were like, that's why we follow you, because you're very much about inclusiveness and diversity. And so anyways, I thought I squashed it. I got on, I did a live. I said, hey, don't you have orders to do? Mind your goals, not mind your own business. Mind your goals. Like, get over it. Someone was offended. If they're offended, whatever. Watch what you're saying to each other. I didn't take sides. There was nothing like that. And it just kept going and going. I thought at noon I actually turned off the comments. And then at like 7 o'clock, I was like, what the hell? People are still commenting. Why? So I get it. There's over, 5,400 people here, and people wanted to chime in later, and they're seeing it, and it's getting you all riled up. Why? Because we're talking about something that's, near and dear to a lot of people's hearts and their belief systems and things like that, right? Love your sweater. That's right, Brooklyn.
So it was interesting because I was on my way to work, and I was seeing these things, and I was like, oh my God, I want to do a live, but I didn't have the time. So one of the things that was kind of really on my mind was...
So did you guys see the comments? Like, did you see the post? I since then deleted them, like, after this evening, because they just pissed me off.
Yeah.
And I just was like, why are we having these conversations? So we wanted to come on tonight at 10:20 at night. Right. In California. It's past 1 a.m. on the East Coast, and if you're in another country, I'm sorry. But we wanted to come on to give you a different perspective. You know, Eddie and I have corporate backgrounds, and we really want to help you start acting like big corporate business people versus cake decorators and small business owners. And I'm a proud small business owner, but from the beginning of time, I have prided myself in not acting like a small business owner.
Yeah, because I think if you act like a small business owner, you're manifesting that, not only that mindset, but also you're going to behave that way, and your business will be small. And so I think that you have to think big. And obviously, I'm not saying that, hey, if you're not considering that, hey, because sometimes people say, hey, you almost have to have the fight of a small business owner, and you have to be scrappy like a small business owner. And that's different. I think that's definitely looking at it from a standpoint of, hey, we want to stay small from a standpoint, like we want to make sure that we're connected to our customers and all those great things. But what I was really thrown off by, and I was like, God, we're not thinking big.
No.
There's a very big difference between not doing a specific product or creating a specific piece of art because of, you know, whatever the situation is. Hey, we have a small bakery here, so
well, like my situation, I don't want to hand sculpt, bachelorette party cakes, because we're not going to be sculpting penis cakes while customers can
walking
see us.
in. Yeah,
it's
so
just not
it's
what
just
we're
not.
gonna do.
Yeah, it's not conducive to the brand. It's very different from just from a standpoint of saying you're not going to help a certain type of people.
Yes.
Now that is completely different, and I will say this: that is almost business suicide. Is to say that you're not going to help a certain type of people.
Okay, so
and
let
here's
me
why.
clarify.
And I want to say this.
Honey, let me clarify what he's saying, and I'm gonna let you go because this is a great point. But I need for you to understand, you're thinking very small. You're in this group, you're like, oh, it's against my morals and my beliefs. You're looking at this from a Christian standpoint, which you guys know, we're Christians, we believe in Jesus, right? However, we have gay friends, we have friends that haven't quite figured out what they want to identify with, and we support all walks of life.
It's not our job to judge
all
anyone.
preference.
So,
like, that's just not what we do.
And I'm not judging you.
That's what we believe in, and we're not judging you if you think it's right, wrong. We
Right.
don't really give a shit. But we wanted to give you a different perspective, because it's very different from, hey, I don't want to sculpt a penis cake because customers are going to see it and it's a bad look for my business. That's very different than saying, I'm not going to make a certain type of cake because I don't want to work on cakes for certain types of people.
Yeah,
I don't believe in gay marriage, so I don't believe that I should work on those types of cakes. And we're here to tell you that it's totally fucking different. Totally different.
Very different. And here's why. Because when you think about this at scale, and what I mean by that is, let's
larger.
Say you are now you have a brick and mortar business, and you continue to have that philosophy.
You're growing, you have thousands of followers, all those great, wonderful the communities things behind you, the city councilmen are behind you. Our story, right? The mayor knows who the Cake Mamas is.
And you have that moral ground that you're saying, that's what we're going to do. What you are essentially saying, and I hope you're really listening to this. What you essentially is saying is that you're putting a sign on your door saying you don't help certain people.
We do not serve gays. That's what you're saying.
That's what you're saying. And it doesn't have to be gays. Maybe you feel like you don't, people with different religions.
Okay, so Anisha says, yes, it's no different than saying you don't want to do a cake for an African American. Yes, that's exactly what we're saying. So history shows that when you are coming from a place of exclusion, bad shit's gonna happen to your business, because we're in 2019, you guys, and we're not in an era where it's okay for you to say, hey, you know what, it's just not something I believe in. I don't believe in biracial couples, so if you're black and white and you get married, sorry, we're not gonna help you in this bakery. it is the exact same thing when you say, due to my religious preferences, I don't believe in gay marriages, so I'm not going to help gays. It sounds terrible. Again, I don't care what you believe in. If that's what the Bible tells you, that's what you choose.
And
that's okay. But you can't say it in 2019. You just can't. It's not about, all day long, everyone was like talking about freedom of speech and, you know, this is my opinion, this is my business. Okay, let me give you some real shit. Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is under massive scrutiny right now because apparently, and it's been something that has kind of haunted them for years now, saying that they've never come out and said that they don't support gay marriage. However, they are very much about, you know, it's a religious-based company, Christian-based company,
it's a Christian
right?
values company,
right. So people have the impression that they don't value gays. And so there's a lot of backlash that this company, this large corporation, is now facing. And they've had to spend millions of dollars to hire public relations consultants to help them clean that shit up because it's wrong. So the LGBTQ community will come for you. And it's not a matter of you saying, oh, well, it's just my opinion. And it's against my moral grounds. No, you're being exclusive. Like, you're saying, we reserve the right to say no to gays, and it's not okay. Yeah. And so here we want to read you this statement. Chick-fil-A spent millions of dollars to hire this consultant, this public relations consultant, to release a statement so that way it doesn't hurt their business, so that way people don't start picketing Chick-fil-A. It could turn into something huge, and it has been. So read the statement so that you can understand this isn't about you being a small business owner. This is about you understanding that if you want to run a multi-million-dollar company, you have to now be responsible for making sure that you are serving all people.
Yeah, and that's what it's called to be open for the public.
Right.
Like, you're not open for the
private.
You're
not open for what you
you're
believe
open
in.
for the public. And so it's important that you understand that if you are deciding to go into business and you are deciding that you want to grow your business and you want to grow to a place where you actually have consistent customers, like, you have to know that whatever you're deciding to do now as far as your morals or your values of your business that your brand stands for, you have to ask yourself, can I consistently do this as I scale? Right. And if you can't, then you know there's a problem and there's a breakdown in your philosophy.
So read the statement.
We are a restaurant company focused on food and hospitality for all. We have no social or political stance. This is what the spokesperson said. We are grateful for all of our customers and we are glad to serve them at any time. We welcome and embrace all people regardless of religion, race, gender, ethnicity, sexual orientation, and gender identity.
So,
y'all, and that just was released yesterday.
That was released yesterday because they're under
NBC
scrutiny
News,
again. So y'all need to Google that and figure out how to make a plaque out of that and put that up in your business. And the next time you think it's okay to banter back and forth with someone about your opinion because it's your business, then I want you to think of that. And so, do you have to do cakes for, gay marriages? You don't have to. I don't care what you do. But what I do care about is this is a business group, and it's our job as business mentors to get you to think like CEOs. Yeah. Not some small business cake lady working from home who thinks she can spew her, beliefs and opinions on whoever that she thinks will listen.
Right.
And I'm not here to offend anyone. I hope you understand that. I want you to be thinking bigger about, God, if a company like Chick-fil-A has to hire someone to release a statement like that, this is a bigger deal. This isn't just about you saying, oh, I don't support it. I don't give a shit what you support, but the general public does, and they will come for you. And so stop being so small with like the comments that you put up on Facebook and, the arguments that you decide to engage in on Facebook. It's bigger than social media. You're a representation of your brand. And so for many years, when I opened the bakery, Eddie and I have never been religious. But for many years when I opened the bakery, there were churches that would come in and ask for donations, and I would happily donate, but I would never publicly, post it. Why? Because I didn't want to offend my Muslim friends. I didn't want to offend my Jewish friends. And, I just didn't feel comfortable doing that. And I still really don't. I don't put any of my political views out there. Why? Because I don't want to offend anyone. We live in a predominantly Republican community. I may not share all those same beliefs, but they don't need to know. They don't need to be discussed. I'm not going to put a sign up on my door that's like pro-Obama so I could piss off everyone, that was against Obama when he was running. So you have to be smarter about this. It's not about you being offended or, this is against what I believe in. If you're really there to serve the public means all.
Yeah, and I think when you think about having a company and you have a corporation for your business, whether you be small, mid-size, or whatever it is, like that company in itself should not place judgment, should not necessarily alienate individuals, because what ends up happening when you alienate individuals with a company, then what you're doing is you're possibly alienating your employees. And so when you think about like, hey, I want to grow my business and I want to have 6 or 7 employees. Well, you don't know what your employees' beliefs are going to be. They're not going to outwardly tell you what they believe in. And if you ask them in the interview process, you are violating their rights to be able to not have to tell you those things.
Yeah.
So I think
if you think, I don't know what you just said because I was distracted by this, but if you think for 1 second that an employee is going to come in, a potential new hire, and you interview them and you don't hire them and they got the impression that you didn't hire them because they were gay, you're going to get sued. That's just that's the world we live in. We're about equal rights and people want to fight to be heard and seen. And, I don't know.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like we said, this is for you to understand from a business standpoint. We're not telling you how to live. We're not telling you what to believe. Those are all, that's your inalienable right to be right or wrong or whatever it is you and your stance that you have. But what is so important as you understand is that when you're opening your business for the public, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then when you open your business for the public, but you're deciding who you're going to do business with,
that's called discrimination.
That's definitely going to be discrimination, and that's going to be revealed, and someone will find that out because they'll see a pattern.
And you will get sued.
Well, you may not get sued because different states do have different laws. But what we're telling you is that if you're alienating individuals, what you're going to do is create a situation where you're going to have a discriminating business. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think when you're thinking about cakes from home and you're saying I have the choice of who I work with, you don't have that choice necessarily when you open up for the public.
Yeah. Because
basically what you're doing is you're saying, hey, we're going to take this back to the 50s and we're going to put a sign up and saying, hey, these are the people that we help and we don't help the others.
Yep.
And that it definitely could be problematic for your business.
It's against the law to decline service due to race, religion, sexual orientation, and gender. And I don't know if that's the law for every single state.
Yeah, every state has different laws for what they call moral and religious rights. But again,
and this is not for us to tell you what you should do. This is for us to take the time out of our night to say, hey, y'all took it a little too far today. And you're also thinking about it very close-minded. And so if you know somebody that could benefit from this, I think you should share this. And you can share it right now while we're live. And I think they can see it, but because it's a private group, they won't be able to see it. But, I hope for the sake of the guy that left Cake Sense today thinking that he was offended or, unwelcomed by a comment, I hope that you guys understand that it's not about your stance on homosexuality or someone's sexual preference. It's about you not excluding or discriminating certain people from your business publicly. You just can't do that. It's just wrong. And, coming from a family that's completely, our races are so intertwined, this wasn't acceptable in the 40s. And if you think about it, wasn't that long ago. And so there's no difference. You can't put a sign up that says we refuse to serve these types of people. And if you do, be prepared for the backlash because you're going to be having to go up to bat for your company. You're going to be in some legal battles and it's not going to work out well for you.
Yeah, and I just don't think that people, and if you have that belief, we just want you to think about this in a bigger scale.
Yep.
Because what ends up happening when you're small, you think you can make these small decisions, but as you grow, those decisions become big. and they become impactful and they become very public.
Yep.
And it's hard to privately discriminate on people because eventually people find out. And hopefully you're successful, but with that comes a lot of more eyeballs.
The point is this. Megan says, you can discriminate against cake designs, but not people. I would say you can decline certain cake designs, but you cannot discriminate against people.
Yeah, but I've read a report, I think it was Colorado, where someone made that stance and they had a brick and mortar business and they decided they did not want to do that for certain people. And it was a big legal thing, and you're putting yourself out there for other customers who may be, open to these ideas. And you're saying this, and so they may say, well, I don't like the fact that you're discriminating. It goes against my values of discrimination, no matter what they believe, but their greater value is I'm inclusive. And so that's
I'll tell you right now, just to share my personal views, I am highly offended by any form of discrimination.
Yeah.
Highly offended. It rattles me and it just offends me. However, run your business the way you want.
Right.
I'm just here to tell you, you might not want to discriminate against certain parties publicly, and it's not always okay to share your opinion.
Can I just say this? Publicly, privately, if you're discriminating,
true.
I think that you are making a conscious decision that is you have a value of excluding people no matter what, and it supersedes everything else. And so whether you do it privately, that stuff comes out. And I'm a person that I will tell you this: history has constantly been on the side, no matter what has been there, about inclusion. Yep. And the more and more you're included, the more and more you become a hero in our society. So that's just what I believe. Hey, you could do whatever you want, but I would just say,
well, to tie a big shiny bow on this, a nice beautiful fondant bow that costs extra money. The point of this is that this is a gem that hopefully will help you develop into a better, smarter, and stronger business owner. You cannot be operating like a small business-minded person, a small-minded business person when you are leading a team, when you're trying to make an impact in the community, when you're trying to, grow your business, when you're trying to stand for something. You cannot be operating from a place of exclusion, period.
Yeah.
And so if you choose to do that, because again, it's your right. If you choose to do that, just understand there are legal ramifications for that. And it's very much bigger than fighting for your opinion and fighting to be right in a Facebook thread. It's not about that. It's about you saying, hey, these are the people I don't want to serve. These are the people I refuse to help, regardless of the reason. You're still discriminating. And so I want you to think about that, because it's likely you're not thinking about that.
Right.
And it's not that we're saying, oh, you're racist, you're sexist, you're whatever. We just want to put it out there and just say, hey, are you thinking about the big picture? Because I don't think you are, friend.
That was the biggest thing. I was driving and said, God, these people are not thinking about the big pictures.
And that's the point of this.
You just have to keep that in mind. So that's the point of this. We wanted to just share that with you guys so that, this is a complicated, a delicate, and a very hard discussion to have, because everybody is all
But
over
it's not.
For me, it's not.
Because
it's
you
clear
can't
cut.
put a sign up and say, hey, we refuse, we're just
But
not
what
gonna
I'm
help
saying
you.
is that I want you. The reason why I say this is because we've become very hypersensitive in our society.
True.
When you have these conversations, people generalize, just like the gentleman did, and they go on this whole narrative that they create because they don't necessarily want to listen to the entire.
Well, someone's
going to
say that we're bullying people into doing cakes for gay marriages, and that's not what we're saying. So if that's what you're hearing, then you should probably open your ears and listen to the big picture, because we're giving you business consulting for free right now, so that you can hear the message of you're going to get yourself in trouble, just like Chick-fil-A. And then I don't think that you have the money to hire a multi-million-dollar consultant, public relations consultant to fix your shit because you decided to go crazy on Facebook. You're still the owner. You're still the responsible party. You're the one people will come for. So please open your mind.
And here's
if
the
this
thing.
triggers you,
and here's the crazy thing.
It's for you.
In 5 or 10 years, you're gonna go off. Say one day you're gonna go off and you're going on a tangent. You're gonna spread all of your, whether it be your judgments, your discriminations, and all these different things. Someone's going to screenshot that. Your business is gonna take off, which is gonna be awesome. And guess what? What's on the internet never disappears. It'll be resurfaced, and all of a sudden, even if you've evolved, even if you've like, oh my God, I've changed my
happens
beliefs,
to politicians all the time. Now you support gay marriage. Now you want to get elected. It's like, well,
you're like
people's opinions
fighting
evolve.
this whole thing, and you're trying to like. And here's the thing: once it's out there, and you're in defense mode. At that particular point in time, there's no coming back.
Yeah. So do you guys understand what we're saying? I mean, I see some of you saying, thank you for taking the time to do this. But do you really get it? Because it doesn't mean you have to agree with like, hey, I support gay marriages. It just means you can't discriminate. Just like when civil rights movements were passed and segregation laws were banned, it doesn't mean that you had to now go, have an interracial relationship. It just meant you couldn't put a sign up that said we refuse to serve certain colored people. Yeah. So I hope that you get it. This is still it's your business. Do whatever the hell you want. But I'm gonna be sitting back one day like this lady's still crazy. Shit. I mean, you're just opening yourself up for a lawsuit. Yeah. So we're trying to save you right now. We're trying to get you to understand the big picture. The internet is a powerful thing. People will screenshot things. They'll use it against you. And I would hate for someone to come for you because you're being small-minded and you're thinking, I'm just a cake lady. I just want to do what's right for me. And I just want to, think bigger.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Have a good night, you guys, and we will see you later.